What I've realized from the past couple weeks is that most Americans live in complete and utter ignorance when it comes to how global trade is changing across the world right now, and the impacts that it's having in America with us and our former allies and trade partners. The one that we specifically need to talk about today is the UK. We grew up thinking that we had a special relationship with the UK, that no matter what happened, when the chips were down, the UK would be there to support us. But with recent actions with this administration pushing the territories of NATO partners and pretty heavy insults made to the sacrifices made by the soldiers in the UK who fought side by side with us in Afghanistan, leads me to deliver this news to you today. That's bad news. The UK didn't just drift away from the United States, it has actively pivoted. And this is something that we're seeing with a lot of our former trade partners right now. Of course, with the EU embracing the mother of all deals, with India, Canada embracing China, a large block of countries in South America doing the exact same. America essentially is its own trading bloc at this point. This is a very dangerous position for the American people to be in. The truth is, our government has been bouncing around the world right now, especially the Western Hemisphere, fighting for global democracy. And while this happened, our oldest ally just became the banker for our biggest trade rival. And honestly, I don't know really what else we should be expecting at this point. We have been saber rattling to the rest of the world right now, saying that we are reviving the Monroe Doctrine, that we're entering an age of imperialism here in America. And what that says for a civilized society that relies on stability is that the biggest actor in that trading bloc, that globalized old world order that the nation's known and existed in for generations now, is no longer reliable. So the only prudent thing that other countries could do is find a stable, reliable partner, i.e. China, i.e. India. The truth is the UK has been in trouble, and them embracing China is a very pragmatic position for them to take. Essentially, they show up and they say, we're broke and America is just too dysfunctional for us to work with at this point. So they need to go to the guy who has cash, because America, we've leveraged our position too much and we just have too much debt at this point. And people are kind of cashing out as far as the US dollar is concerned. So with so much blood in the water and a major artery in America being nicked, most countries that save themselves are doing just that. They're acting to save themselves and their trade partners. But this has more of an impact than just being the numbers, right? This isn't just a trade deal that's being made. This is the end of the Western United Front. And for you, the average American worker, this means that the shield that has been protecting your wages has officially cracked. You have to treat this like it's a union strike, right? The US and all its trade allies looked at China and said that if you don't do this the way that we want it to be done, then we're not going to buy from you. Or we're going to impose tariffs to dissuade investors from working with you. The thing is, this only works if it is a united front. If it's multiple countries who are engaged in this kind of economic battling. But if it's just America alone, and there's many other consumer bases out there and countries that are willing to work with China, well, then they're threats that really have no teeth. And the tariffs themselves, the only people who are actually paying the price on them are, of course, the American worker. There's been reports that in some sectors, 95% of all tariffs are being paid by the American worker, and more agreed upon, it's about 55%. But in a time like right now, where cost of living is crazy, good careers, like we talked about in the last video, 600,000 jobs, careers, were just lost and replaced with 650,000 lower wage jobs. The American people are they're losing their spending power. Number one, because the dollar is becoming more devalued. And number two, is because they just have less money to spend. And with less money coming into the household, and the fact that the bills are costing more, the insurance is going up, both medical, home, and car insurance, and the bill at the grocery store is ever increasing. Again, this puts American people in a very precarious situation. Because with the UK securing what is essentially a sweetheart deal with China, China has now just had a back door opened to the West. Because like I said, the American workers now aren't just competing with China with the backing of their trade allies. Now you're competing against China and the UK, and the leverage that America had is gone. So as we see this continue, what this is going to mean is that America is just getting left out of deals. So when we look at the mother of all deals, you have all these EU countries that are now working with India. So they're going to have either free trade or reduced tariffs. Now, America is still going to have full tariffs imposed on them, which means that America has to lower their costs as much as possible to be competitive in some of the products being shipped into India. It's just not possible for them to compete. I talked about this in one of the last videos when we talked about the auto industry. If you're in India and you have a choice between a Mustang at $40,000, but after tariffs, it's $84,000. But you can buy a BMW for $40,000 and after tariffs, it's $44,000. It's pretty obvious that Germany is going to win out on that one. We can be as judgmental as we want about this. Honestly, this is the result of America's actions. We pushed away our allies, like I've said, and the UK needs things. They need machinery. They need the tech. They need the EVs. They need all this stuff. And America's become a very unreliable partner to work with if any bad decision or any decision that's made that's unpopular because of one person in our White House can result in a 25 to 50% tariff being put on that. Well, investors look at that, like I said, as just an unpredictable ally, if an ally at all. But now they can get Chinese EVs essentially tariff-free, which is going to impact the auto market in the UK, yes. And they're going to have to make a decision whether the environmental protections that are required on a lot of the cars that they have now are actually going to be worth it, because putting more restrictions is costly and it is going to impact the bottom line in China. So this creates a situation kind of in the global market where it's a race to the bottom, because if you have products that are being produced that have lower standards and less restrictions, they're going to be a lot cheaper. But in America, if we're pushing out products that have a lot higher standards, they're going to be more expensive. So like I said, there's multiple fronts on this that America just can't compete. And the UK traditionally is a large partner. And this means essentially the UK is just not going to be able to buy Fords anymore, or not going to want to. So the American companies, for them to compensate with this new loss, means that they're either going to have to cut wages or cut jobs. It's one of the reasons why you're seeing so much automation enter the industry. That's one of the reasons why you're seeing so many plants shut down, because the corporations that are from Germany, like we heard about the Audi plant that was supposed to be built, that's now been postponed because America has essentially become an unstable and risky investment. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Audi plants being built in India because of the agreement they have. But as far as America is concerned, a lot of the small towns that these factories set themselves up in, those factories are either going to close down, which means that unemployment in these small towns where there's no other jobs is going to go up, or the factories that people were expecting to come in, well, they're just not going to be there. So in the end, it's a massive negative for the working class in the United States, because this is an entire industry that's going to be impacted. We already talked about how the automotive industry in America is going to be severely impacted over the next few years as Chinese EVs enter the market in Canada. This is just another angle in which the American working class are really going to be punished by the reckless actions of this administration. There is a boring but kind of scary part to this that we need to talk about, and that is the City of London. Now, the City of London is the financial hub of the world, some would argue. And with this direct connection, this pipeline leading from the UK to China, it creates more destabilization in the US dollar than we already have right now. This bypasses the need to use the global reserve currency, which is the US dollar. We have to understand that with this, it just means that more people are less likely to buy US debt. And that may not seem a consequence. That may not seem to have any consequence to the normal American. I understand that, but we have to look at this from another way. Many of us have spent our entire lifetimes saving up some kind of wealth. So at some point, maybe one day, maybe we can retire, or we're just clinging on for dear life. Now, if there's no countries out there buying American debt, that means that the US government needs to print out more dollar bills in order to pay off the interest on their debt that we carry, which is substantial. That means that the inflation is going to go up, and that's going to eat away at the savings that you have. The reality is that American operates in a way that we love sanctions. We use them all the time to punish people that we don't like. But sanctions only work if everyone says that we're not going to work with the person that we're sanctioning. If the US sanctions a Chinese tech firm and the UK says, we like engagement, so we're not going to do that, well, then the sanctions are meaningless. If we zoom out and look at this, we need to understand that globalization is coming to an end. America profited greatly off globalization, and American population being the most sought after consumer base has profited massively as well. Our lifestyles have exploded over the past couple generations. But we're transferring to a fragmentation now. The world's moved from globalization, from one economy, to different trading blocks. And right now, the other trading blocks that are being built right now, they're getting a lot bigger than us. America, like I said, has become an island. Right? We've become the old grouchy guy yelling at people to get off their lawn, and the rest of the world has essentially agreed. And now they're having a block party, and we're not invited to it. The containment strategy has really failed, and the UK leaving has really, not just the UK, but the EU moving to India has really confirmed this. It's confirmed that America has become isolated, and it was our trade alliances that were our protection. But with the protection gone, really it's the working class that's really in danger at this point. If the UK, a nation with a 1,000-year history or more, if they're going to have a plan B, then I think it's important that all of us, you, have a plan B as well. You cannot bet everything on an empire that is failing. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, especially now. Like I said, my family, we've completely divested from the US dollar. We use, baby toy, we use Wise to trade our US dollar into either euro or the Swiss franc. Really, those are the two main ones to really protect us from the inflation that's happening now and for the inflation that's going to be coming as America becomes more isolated and less people are carrying our debt. So I think that it might be something that could really help a lot of you out. I'm not telling you to do anything. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But, be prudent in the financial decisions that you make to protect yourself now. But diversifying can take many other forms as well. Diversify your location. This is a running theme, and I will always continue to push this as the world changes and America becomes a place with less opportunity. Shake the mindset that you've been indoctrinated into to believe that America is the only place where you can be successful. There's many other places out there that you can be, and you have the options to actually work in those places, to live in those places, to build a life where you're actually valued and life has meaning more than just work. And I can tell you from personal experience that it is a great way to live. But the thing is, right now, the American people, as high-paying jobs are disappearing and more low-paying jobs are being created, there's less good jobs out there for us. So right now, the American people are in a kind of game of musical chairs. And at some point, the music's going to stop. And you need to ask yourself what happens if you're the one without a chair. Food for thought. Everyone, thank you as always. Like and subscribe. It really helps with the channel. Think about becoming a member. Donations are always great. We appreciate it. Logan, come. Come. Let's go. We got to say hi. Oh, Logan. Dude, Logan's outfit. Check this out. Check it out. The hood. It's nice. But we're actually going to be leaving sunny Florida and heading up north for a bit. Everything with the consulate is done, and we are ready to punch out to Europe. And we're super excited for that. So we have some business up north to take care of. And then finally, we're heading overseas, which is nice. I've been talking about it on the channel for a while, and we're excited to get the family out of here for a bit. Now, we are going to be coming back around summertime and be here for the fall and kind of follow the same cycle for the next couple of years. If America still exists at that point, well, we will see. Things are going to get rocky in the next few years. And like I said, that's why everyone should be prepared. But Logan's doing great. As you can see, it's a bit colder down here. It may not look like it, but it's 40 degrees this morning. And this guy, he doesn't do well in it. So we had to break out his pajamas for the day. But we love you guys, and we hope you have a good one. Stay safe and keep aware of what's going on. And please make some plans, because we're all kind of in this together, and we're all just trying to survive and make sure our families are good. So take care.